Hello and welcome to the Roundtable Podcast. I am Shogun. I just hit my shatter pen at an inappropriate time. Holy shit. Welcome. Thank you to Blueshy and the live audience. Sorry for my coughing. We're going to talk today about cryptids, which are those creatures which are believed to exist and often reported or seen, but not officially recognized by science. So we're going to talk about, for example, the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, and all variations of the tree knocker or the, Bigfoot character. Also the Loch Ness Monster, sea monsters, Mothman, Chupacabra, Nessie, Ogopogo, lake monsters, any and all local or global unknown creatures. This is basically a conspiracy theory 101 kind of topic that we haven't recorded a podcast about yet, or maybe we haven't even done a special event on yet, even in the 2019 days. So before I start, we're the Roundtable Discord server. Please join us on conspiracy theories or politics through Discord, or just Google Roundtable Discord. Go to theroundtable.com to check out our website. Actually, it's the roundtablediscordserver.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, GoFundMe, Patreon, Reddit, and all other social media. We even have a pretty dope Minecraft server now, I understand. You can find that through the server. All the podcasts, 60 plus of them, are on RT Recorded. Okay, that being said, Valen, are you there? Going once, going twice. Is anybody there?
There was a bug, no? There was a bug, I think.
I don't know what you said, but everybody's leaving and reconnecting, so I'm assuming there was a problem with Discord, though. Okay, well, Princess, are you there? Princess is also not there. How about Magical Album? I can hear you. Do you have anything to say about cryptids?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's been a while since I've looked into this stuff. But I had some curiosity about Bigfoot, a couple years ago. I did, about as much research as many other people. Watched the documentaries, read some stuff online, and I found, some of the evidence that they had was actually quite compelling, especially like up in the forest. They have these tree. I guess they kind of look like teepees, but they're not at a height in which a human could reach. So it's very perplexing why they're there to begin with, as well as what their purpose is. And they think there might be like territorial markers or something. And there's actually this one video that's got like this. It looks like this. I don't know, like a baby Bigfoot like peering through some leaves. But it looked very convincing. But I don't know if it could have been a puppet or something. Anywho, but in that documentary, I think it was on Netflix, I'm not sure, but it was, there was a lot of stuff about how they communicate, their howling, like the howls and stuff like that, what it means, like how many there actually might be. But personally, I would think that I would love for Bigfoot to exist, and the fact that there are so many different legends like throughout the world, Sasquatch, I think that's Bigfoot, or is that the same thing? I think that's Canada's Bigfoot. But and then what's the Yeti up in the Himalayas, or I'm not sure what that one's called. But there's some compelling evidence, and there might be some connections with Denisovans. Ancient giants, biblical giants. I don't know if there is a connection with that, but that's part of my speculation. But anyways, do I really think they exist? Honestly, not really. I really don't think they do. But until like there's actual real proof and evidence, I'll have to say that they don't. But you never know. But yeah, for that, I'm just going to pass the mic.
Okay. Thank you. So that was Magical Album. Princess, do you want to turn here? Valen, are you there? So technically I would be next, except for Tim. Tim, do you want to talk about cryptids, aliens? I'm not aliens, but cryptids, monsters, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, anything of this nature? Do you believe in these?
I have no idea about all of them. I just came in to see what everyone was talking about.
All right. Well, I'll take my turn rather than going last. So basically, you have reports from all around the world of people who have either seen or experienced some kind of encounter with a creature which is seemingly a biological animal of some kind, like a flesh and blood creature in most cases, but is not known to science or acknowledged by the scientific community. So as we know, the most common is Bigfoot, who exists in so many cultures. You have so many names: Bigfoot, Tree Knocker, Sasquatch, Yeti, Abominable Snowman. The names go on, right? And then you got the lake monster, which exists in places where I live, in British Columbia. You got the Ogopogo. You got the Loch Ness Monster. You got Ogopogo is the Canadian Loch Ness Monster. And there's other ones, sea serpent, thunderbirds, Makole Membe being an existing dinosaur in the Congo, or the Amazon, Mothman, and all these things. Now, I do believe that some of these are real. It's interesting to point out two things. You guys know Jane Goodall is the famous primatologist who lived with chimpanzees, and she's very famous for her work on primates. Well, Jane Goodall is 100% convinced that Bigfoot is real, and she testifies that, in her opinion, as a primatologist, there exists a North American ape as yet unknown to science. Another person who has an interesting opinion on this is Les Stroud. Les Stroud is the Survivor Man, right? So has a famous show in Canada. I don't know how famous it is outside of Canada, but
I've seen it.
Yeah, he's a survivor man, so he drops himself into all different remote wilderness areas, and he survives with only what little bit of shit he brings with him and films it. It's epic. He's an epic dude. And he says that he's 100% convinced that there is the North American primate and that he's encountered it, and it makes particular noises, and it throws stones. It like whoops like an ape and throws rocks at you, and it's not a bear because they don't do that. So, yeah, it's quite interesting, that one. The Mothman thing is trippy. If you haven't seen the Mothman prophecies or looked into it, we should do an episode on Mothman. Chupacabra, whatever, Mexican goat-sucking dog, who knows. Loch Ness Monster has been reported all through history, going back to the Middle Ages, which is suspicious or interesting. I think there might have been something there, possibly a prehistoric seal-like creature or a serpent or something. There could definitely be survivors from previous evolutionary epochs. I've never seen anything paranormal. I've met a man, I took care of a man once who was very elderly, and he told me firsthand of his experience of Bigfoot. Didn't seem to be lying. Never seen anything myself other than UFOs. And that's it, I guess. So I'll pass to Invictus. You have anything to say about this?
Yes, can I talk about the beasts in France?
Please.
Because, yes, we have a famous beast which is called the Dahu, le Dahu, and it is like a goat, but it has only 3 legs. And so the kids look for the print in the snow because it lives in the mountain. But we say it's just a joke, but maybe it is real. And we have another beast which is really well known. It is the beast of Gévaudan. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about the beast of Gévaudan?
Which one, sorry?
The beast of Gévaudan.
Is it there's a movie called The Brotherhood of the Wolf, which is really, really cool. And it's basically, there was like a beast in France that like ate a whole bunch of people, and they made a really cool movie about it. Is that what you're talking about? It was like a werewolf or like a lion or something?
Yes, we don't know what it is. We only know there was very how do you say, lot of crimes non-solved, and until now the scientist still search what it is. Is it a lion, a wolf, a dog? We don't still know what it really is. The beast of Gévaudan.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. It's apparently an unknown creature that killed like hundreds of people in France. They dispatched the French army to try and fight it. And the only explanation we have is like maybe it was some kind of weird trained lion that was wearing armor. It's like very weird story. And if you haven't seen the movie Brotherhood of the Wolf, it's actually pretty cool. It's about that story.
Yeah, we don't know, or maybe it was a pack of dogs who went wild again, or we really don't know what it really was, that beast. And one day I've seen a pig, how do you say, wild pig, and I was very impressed. And it appears to me like it was very very large, but in fact it was normal. So maybe when you have a big impression and you see the beast quickly, you can see it differently, that is real shape.
Fascinating.
Have you ever seen it yourself?
Princess, are there cryptids in Malaysia?
I don't think so. I don't even know what that is. Can you explain a little bit?
Are there creatures like mythical creatures in your culture?
Oh,
Monsters?
not
Animals?
really, though.
No.
I don't think
How
so.
about you, Valen?
But
You there? No,
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead,
here.
Princess. Nothing, Princess?
nothing.
Okay. Valen, do you have any Quebec myths about Bigfoot or other creatures? Like
Quebec
monsters?
myths are weird. Like a lot of them come. Well, the ones I hear, because where I grew up, it used to be like very native land. So like a lot of them are weird native stuff. But the difference where I came from is it's less animals and more spirits. Best way, like it's spirits or like old dead tribes that come back to life. Like not really cryptids, but more that. That's where I personally grew up in Quebec. That's more of like less cryptids, more like spirits and stuff.
Do you have the Wendigo?
The
Believe?
Wendigo, not where I come from. It's not the Wendigo, but there's one thing where I grew up is I'm not gonna really talk about 'cause it's gonna just show the like it. But there's a lake. It has a weird name, but there's a lake and they have a Loch Ness type monster. And there was a few photos taken and there was news reports on it. And the photos weren't photoshopped or anything. And like for the longest time as a kid, I always thought it was bogus. But when the photos came out, there was photo editors and all that. They all came and said, "There's no way these photos were edited." It was, and these are the two things. It was either a leech on a leaf, and they just took the photo, and it just so happened, or there is actually like a Loch Ness esque type monster in the lake.
I would have liked to see that if you can find those sources by any chance.
Yeah, sure.
Because, yeah, in
I'll post
BC
them
they have Ogopogo. I think there's another sea monster where my dad lives that I can't even remember the name of. And yeah, the Wendigo belief is here as well. But
What is a Wendigo?
we did a whole episode about it with Stiggy, and the recording got lost, unfortunately. But the Wendigo is like a northern Canadian and Native American mythology that it's like a cannibal spirit or a wind spirit or winter spirit or a giant or something that breaks the trees down or that eats flesh. It has all different versions, but it's like a powerful supernatural cannibal spirit in the wilderness. It's very strange, but let's see here. Invictus, did you get a turn? Hey Lars, how's it going?
Hey,
You there,
what's up,
Lars?
big dog? Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's y'all talking about? I just showed
We're
up.
talking about like Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, Chupacabra, sea serpents, any kind of like creature like that. Do you believe in any of that? You heard anything about any of that?
There's a yes and no to it. I believe there's a reason why there's folklore behind things like this, but I believe that definitely with something like Bigfoot, Chupacabra, something like that. There once was, possibly not much anymore. per se, but like since the beginning of this folklore, there might have been just so much as such as it being there. But as far as Bigfoot goes, I could believe that it's just like a big circus ape that could have just ran her off. You know.
You think it was a circus ape that got free? This Bigfoot?
Yeah, I believe that it could be something like that. I mean, like, but then there's Chupacabra that is something like could have been that could have been around. You know what I'm saying? Because like Mexican folklores and stuff like that. I mean, those become from behind spirituality. But Bigfoot, on the other hand, that could have been just as much as a loose circus ape. You never know of what may or may not be. You know.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that on the topic of mysterious creatures or supernatural animals?
I think that a phoenix is pretty. I think that the idea of a phoenix is pretty damn cool. I think that there very much could be an idea of a phoenix that could happen during the end times. That would happen, like maybe a creature from God's place that would come down, scorch the earth.
How about, thank you, Lives. How about Eric's? You got anything about Mexican folklore about creatures or cryptids? Eric's going once. Eric's passing. Seymour, Poopy McFartface. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
You can say that again, my friend. It's a beautiful
I'm
day in
doing
Canada.
fine. Yeah, it's great weather. It's warm. There's clouds, but it's still sunny. Partly cloudy.
So, what are your beliefs on Bigfoot, supernatural creatures, Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, etc.? Any of these like mysterious creatures like the Yeti or whatever? Do you think any of this is real?
Well, I think there's a lot of folklore surrounding the whole ordeal, but there are very real paranormal entities, and they are very dangerous, and it's nothing to mess with, and it should be avoided.
What do you think are some of these real paranormal entities that you mentioned?
Basically ghosts, but you're not susceptible to it if you stay in the light.
So, do you believe that ghosts are the actual spirits of the dead?
Possibly. They could be demonic entities.
Oh well, what about weeping angels? You know what I speak of whenever I say that?
No.
Weeping angels are the idea of these statues of angels that whenever you turn away from them or if you look at them in the eyes, then for eternity that you have to always have to keep an eye on them or else they will catch up and they'll kill you. It's on a basis. And there's supposed to be statues of angels made in the Catholicism during the time of the uprising of Catholicism.
Well, so you believe that ghosts are the spirits of the dead who still inhabit the earth? Is that the case?
I can believe that. Yeah, I mean, I believe that it's definitely that there could be things like ghosts or it's such things as these.
Seymour's turn now, Lars.
Oh my bad.
It's all good. No problem. Seymour, you got anything else to say?
Can you repeat the question?
Well, you mentioned you believe
I-
in ghosts. My question was just, do you believe they're the spirits of dead people that still inhabit the earth?
I'm not sure. It could be.
I believe in ghosts. I had paranormal experience that I thought was like ghosts, whatever that means. Let's see. Invictus, did you get a turn? I think everybody's gone that's here. Belushi's
Shogun.
not here, and it says not here.
Invictus is here, but he's scared to talk because he said that he's stoned and he has an accent.
That doesn't matter. Nothing wrong with an accent. Just take your turn.
You could possibly come back around to him. He said he's making coffee.
Hey, Shogun,
Well,
can I have a turn?
yeah.
Because I just remember this, like an invisible human that they say that it might be like elf or like a hidden people. Like usually it would be like a woman, and that woman would lure men into this another world, like a different world and a human world. Have you ever like heard about this?
It sounds like the fairies that Steve talks about, the fae, the elder folk. Yeah, that's basically what you just described. Sounds very much like the fairy lore of Iceland or Steve's belief.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, they're
not
like
really.
people, invisible people, and people can take you to another dimension or another world or another land.
Oh, yeah. So they're fairies?
Maybe you have fairies in Malaysia, or what you might call elves.
Yeah, we have this, I guess, because there are like a lot of stories about this. Like there are a bunch of like movies based on this, but I don't think it's real. But I'm not quite sure. It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
apparently they're in Canada. Supposedly, the Icelandic fairy lore says that some fairies went to Canada, northern Canada. I was walking in the woods once in Canada and heard like unearthly like music coming from the woods. It was like totally alien and crazy, and I was like so torn between going to see what was making the music, and I got like too scared and I ran away instead. But I don't know.
Oh
Who
my God,
knows?
what happened if you got kidnapped by them?
I should have gone to see though.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we wouldn't be dealing with this virus right now. Yeah.
What would you compare the music to today? Like that weird music you heard?
Honestly, have you ever heard Spangle?
No. What is
Okay, just
spangle?
go. I'll place the Spangle playlist for you, and you can listen to it, and it'll be a pretty good approximation of the best approximation I could give you of how it sounded.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, like, there's some things that we should investigate, and then there's some things that us as people just should just run away from. I think you might have made a good idea on that end. I believe that, that's the reason why white people die in horror movies. You have to have a fight or flight mentality. So,
Hey Shogun, doing
I
research.
posted a link in general of a Spangle song.
Hey Shogun, when I was looking up for the image, I found actually folklore relating to a Quebec thing. It's the article's from 1907. But it's talking about a mysterious killer beast, and the best way to describe it, it looks like a dog, like with a weird, like with claws, like talons, a snake's tongue, and almost like scalish fur with a weird raccoonish tail. Like the best way to describe it. And yeah, that's a cryptid I found while looking for the image for you.
Bellin Shanks. Thank you for that, Bellin Shanks. You want to turn? Bellin Shanks going once. No. Does anyone else have anything they want to say about cryptids, strange creatures? I
Yeah.
mean, I have a few more things I could say.
Sorry, my mic
Yes.
was off. I'm good. My bad.
Blue?
Yes, I think in the how do you say, in the end of the royalty, there was scientist who made false corpses. They how do you say, they sew corpses, and so they pretend to have discovered an extraordinary beast, but that was not real. Was it clear?
You got some of it.
They sew, with a
But
needle and with, sewing. They sew the corpses, and so it appears like an extraordinary beast, but that was a fake one.
a beast. Thank you. Amazing. NSA unfortunately is muted. I'll say one thing, right? So the coelacanth, was discovered alive after they thought it was extinct for like 200 million years, and they found a living one. So creatures do, for sure, sometimes like continue to exist way past the end of their evolutionary period, where we think they went extinct. So you literally could have prehistoric creatures still swimming around the ocean, and we don't know a lot of what's out there. And there is a lot of evidence. Even the Thriocene wolf, or the Tasmanian wolf, the Thylacine or whatever, it's a stripy, like wolf-like creature, but it's not a wolf. It's a Tasmanian wolf, and they thought they were extinct, but it seems they may still be alive. So you can definitely have creatures in the wilderness that you don't know about, even today. And
Yeah, actually, if I could add on to that, there was recently a discovery in Australia of a tiny lion cat, and you would think like now, like as far as we've come, that we would especially as inhabited as Australia is, because this cat is in the more grassier regions, or foresty regions of Australia, which is the more populated areas, that people would have noticed this. But it took, so like what I'm trying to say is that animals can go under our radar, like something as that you would think that we would see. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, yeah, exactly. And there is also the bone ape. So technically, Bigfoot is already proven. We already found one Bigfoot. The question is just, is there more than one Bigfoot, or is there only the one Bigfoot? Because we have at least one Bigfoot that exists. Sorry, which is Joe Rogan talks about it. It's called either the Beely ape or the bone ape, and it's a chimpanzee the size of a gorilla that often walks on its back legs and eats meat. And they call them lion eaters or leopard eaters because they eat leopards and big cats, apparently. And you can find video of these things, and they're fucking huge. They're like gorillas-sized chimps, basically. And they're real. And so that's like one megafauna primate, unknown cryptid, that is now known to be real. So cryptology is not bogus. Like, it's not just like fairy tales. It's like they do find these things, like the coelacanth, the Beely or bone ape. Yeah. Even the thunderbird used to be real, right? You can find in museums. The thunderbird is a huge fucking crow the size of like a plane. And so those things might still have existed into the recent human past. First Nations people may have actually coexisted with them, for example, in Canada or America, with these huge birds the size of, a small plane. So, yeah, it's trippy. And it's cool. And I believe in Bigfoot for sure. The dude I worked with told me he saw it. Like, he was like an old dude, a really old dude, decrepit old fucking dude. And he's like, told me the whole story of seeing this fucking bipedal, wild, hairy Sasquatch.
Out of all of the cryptids, I think that the Bigfoot character, or the Bigfoot creature, is the more likely one to actually exist. That, or some type of sea creature that we haven't seen because we haven't explored most of the ocean.
That reminds me. The giant squid, they suspected it existed because they were finding their beaks in whales' stomachs, and they were finding the tentacle marks on whales' faces, but they'd never found a giant squid. And then they did find them finally, and it's only recently that we had proof for sure that giant squids existed, but they're huge fucking kraken-type things that could be like 25 feet long. And they're real, but, so they can be big things. Like that Beely ape is a big creature. We just discovered it recently, so especially in the Congo and the Amazon, I guarantee you there's some shit that we would be surprised by.
Maybe we'll see some new creatures come out of the Amazon. I don't know how the Amazon forest fires are now, especially with all this COVID stuff. I mean, that pretty much went off into the background.
Good point. I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a lot of undiscovered land still. And, Antarctica, for sure, like, we don't know what's under Antarctica. The whole ozone layer going above Antarctica, that's pretty interesting, too. I don't know what that has any correlation with this or anything, but it's just, there's probably a lot of different creatures that live in these pockets that I believe that exist in Antarctica, of moist temperatures in which creatures could live. Tropical life is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
Well, it actually is proven. The news recently was they proved that there was a rainforest under what is now Antarctica. So under the Antarctic ice is a rainforest. So rainforests are extremely biodiverse ecosystems. So therefore, there are thousands of undiscovered species frozen, probably preserved under Antarctica. So the significance is just unbelievable. And then I think almost certainly there's a human culture that existed in a habitable environment like a rainforest. So there's also going to be relics and artifacts at the very least. And I think also there's pockets of Antarctica that are preserved somehow by thermal vents or whatever, where there'll be little pockets of the living ecosystem as well. So it should be pretty trippy. Plus, I've seen UFOs and shit from satellite imagery in Antarctica. Oh, good. NSA is back. NSA, you fuck. Tell us what you think about Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Sorry, I was working
Loch
on my
Ness Monster. Yeah, I know.
What am I about? What, Antarctica and Sasquatch?
No, not Antarctica. Cryptids. So you got to talk about Bigfoot, Chupacabra, Mothman, Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, Yeti.
All bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Everything is literally bullshit.
You're bullshit.
And it all leads to an extraterrestrial playing around with the occult and paranormal. It's literally all bullshit to keep people distracted and have us talking about that instead of extraterrestrials and the fact that there's men in the Air Force sitting right next to a Zeta Reticulan right now monitoring people on Earth. That playing around with the little disinfo because it's their game. So this is the game. The whole everything occult and paranormal. That's the game these creatures play with us. That's their ability to interact. They come in at night and they project these little fucking videos of what they think these creatures would look like to us, and then they scare the shit out of people. And then they tell 1,000 people about it, and it's like now it's part of legend. It's fairies and fucking brownies and fucking bullshit. I mean, that's the truth, I guess. Whatever. Simplify.
You telling me you don't believe in brownies?
I don't believe in jack shit, dude. I think it's all a bunch of fucking ignorant humans, gullible, poetic humans interacting with these fucking ETs that like to scare the shit out of us all the time. For real.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else want to take a turn at speaking about cryptids? Anyone at all?
Sorry, I get labeled as a conspiracy theorist, and it's just like not at all, bro. Like I'm literally the ultra skeptic. I just happen to have talked to an alien. Sorry to interrupt. But.
Well, I think there's definitely still undiscovered creatures and remnants of things from other times that still exist in little isolated pockets in the jungle. And you're going to find things you thought were extinct millions of years ago that are still alive, or you're going to find some fucking creature that you didn't know existed. I think that's
there's
real.
some shit on water. I think because the water level was 400 feet lower 12,000 years ago, and our oldest human Homo sapien bones are 300,000 years old. So I know for sure there's cities and shit all the fuck over the place that are, in way different locations geography-wise, because the Earth looked different. There are 2 cataclysms in the last 60,000 years, and each of them had a varying level of ocean effect and ice ages and etc. So I mean, yeah, there's some Atlantean Lemuria, shit all over the Avalon. Who knows?
Exactly. And also, there's huge dragons in caves under the ground, and the Earth is flat. And
yeah, shut the fuck up. God damn it, dude. I mean, I know there's underground bases. We know there are underground bases in Antarctica. Some idiot in the army left his fucking phone app for his workout shit on, and we got it. We have the mapping of it all now. But so it's not like we can deny that there's shit going on there that is military based. Plus, they've been working on weather modification and Antarctica shit for like the last 100 years in the Navy that we have paperwork for. So these things aren't even conspiracy.
No, I mean, there is literally publicly admitted now there was a rainforest under Antarctica. So if there was a rainforest, that means you're going to find the fossils and the evidence of thousands or millions of different species that you may not have ever known before, including like DNA samples and tissues and viruses and fucking plants and seeds and spores and amber and fucking blood and bones and all kinds of shit, right? As well as, in all likelihood, buildings and artifacts and arrowheads and fucking cultures of different human shit archaeology, because if there was a rainforest, there was probably people, because the rainforest is very habitable for humans. So it just only makes sense that there would have been people there. And therefore, that would explain why all those people are going up there to see, secret shit that was uncovered under the ice. It could have archaeological or religious or cultural significance. So that's an interesting point to end on, unless anyone else wants to take one more swing at the fucking ball.
Yeah, fuck all the guys in special forces working with aliens. You're traitors to your people.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Men
No,
and women of
no.
the American military and intelligence forces. We love you.
No, the cover-up has led to
Shepherd.
thousands of innocent Americans being abused. You're traitors to the Republic of the United States and should be prosecuted as such. The end.
We can't be trusted with freedom. God save the Queen.
Fucking Queen of England. How is she still alive? She must be a mutant like me.
The transfusions from the blood of children.
God damn it, dude. It's not children, it's teens. It's the teens that have the blood that they want, because the teen blood has post puberty blood is like super fucking jacked up with stuff.
Most celebrities drink primarily stem cells and breast milk colostrum.
And it's $8,000 per infusion, and it's legal because it's like legally acquired blood from these people.
Foreskin, facials, and adrenochrome.
Dude, just pump out a bunch of kids and pump out a bunch of kids and have them donate blood for a bunch of fucking money, and you'll be rich.
Donate all their blood.
Not all of it. You can only take so much.
I'm not saying you should do these things, of course, but young blood transfusion is a real thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. There's companies that actually sell the blood of young people to old people to transfuse into them. It's a real thing. It costs $8,000 a pint.
Yeah, there's a company in California.
But it doesn't work out because you don't. Transfusion are you say risky. Transfusion is risky, and yes.
It's called Ambrosia, the company too, which is hilarious.
And it follows from Elizabeth Bathory, who used to bathe in the blood of the young maidens to preserve her youth, and to Dracul and Dracula, who supposedly drank blood, and then drinking blood, supposedly someone on the server was saying, is the most nutritious thing. So apparently drinking blood is like the most nutritious thing, so you could drink blood. And the Mongols drank blood. They mixed it with horse milk with horse blood and drank that.
There are actual people online on YouTube that will claim they're Luciferian vampires that drink human blood. They get it legally. It's not like they're fucking going around killing people for it. But they are sitting there drinking it. It's quite a fucking weird thing, but it is a real... I don't know what the fuck is wrong with humans sometimes, but apparently I'm the crazy one in this world, so we'll just go from there.
There's even consensual cannibalism shit, and it's fucking weird. But, point is, don't eat human flesh or drink human blood, probably. But, I'm
gonna go for
you may be able to barter your family or friends to reptilians for technology.
Well, dude, like, I'm gonna go to Antarctica though, and I'm gonna skin the alien alive and crucify it. So
there's huge UFOs in Antarctica, man. Like, you can literally see from Google satellite photos, clear photos of huge, perfect UFO flying saucers, like from in Antarctica.
It's literally a bait. There's a reason why the Pope, the Orthodox priest, church head guy for Russia, John Kerry, Buzz Aldrin, and God knows what other fucking political figures have been down to Antarctica. There is something under the ice. We're being lied to, just like everybody knows we're being fucking lied to. I don't know why more people aren't upset about it. There's 327 million Americans. Why are we taking this bullshit lie thinking that these guys in the military think they should know better for us and they can just slap national security? Like, they think we're children. They literally think we're children that that we can't handle the truth. We can't handle the truth. Yeah, well, the truth is they're working with these freaks, and they're telling us that we're a bunch of stupid fucking mongs that should be fucking cattled around like sheep.
You're a stupid fucking mong.
You know it's true. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and there is fucking giant alien pyramid faces in Antarctica, and pyramids, and fucking.
Have you seen Buzz Aldrin talk about? There's a little video clip online talking about how there's an obelisk on one of the moons of Mars, and he's like, "We should go there."
And there is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Like,
should. And we did already. We already been there. Honestly, they went to Mars in like 1970.
I just don't understand why these technocrats that are sitting there at NASA and Langley and shit think that we're so fucking stupid that they can't tell us about this crap. I'm gonna fucking be the goddamn. I'm gonna take a shit. Actually, I'm gonna go for a bike ride though. Peace out, my bitches.
All right. Well, that might be our Q2 close. So, thank you guys. I think we really got to the bottom of this. I, for one, feel a lot of closure. So we'll close this episode up now. But thank you for joining us. Roundtable Discord server, Google Roundtable Discord, the roundtablediscordserver.com, Facebook, Instagram, all social media, Minecraft server. Join us on all your platforms, and join us again later tonight for another event that I cannot currently remember what it is, but it will happen. And the rest of us will now jump up to the regular room for an open discussion, because there are many things to discuss that cannot be recorded.